Hi parents, my name is Miss Akoto and I'm here to give you a lesson on how to teach your scholar how to identify the difference between fiction books and nonfiction books. So in kindergarten, the scholars learn certain things about how to tell fiction books apart from nonfiction books. And in first grade, we go a level deeper than what they learned in kindergarten. So right here, I have a fiction text and it's called Farm Friends. And one of the ways that you would help your scholar figure it out that it was fiction is by appealing to the four story elements. So those are character, setting, problem, solution. So your scholar would get this book, flip it open it up, look through the pages and see, are there some things that are in this story that tell me that it's a fiction book? So one thing that I see is that there's a character acting on this every single page. Another thing that I see is that all the settings are changing. First they're on a school bus, then they're at a farm. And so these are different things that you would have conversations about with your scholar for them to finally understand that this is a fiction text. One of the things that they learned in kindergarten was that if a book is fiction, it's because it has cartoons or illustrations, which is not necessarily true because nonfiction texts about things that we can't see in real life are also may have illustrations. For example, if you're reading a book about the anatomy of your body, you can't really take a picture of someone's lung and then post it in a book, not often. And so what a person would do is illustrate that. So just remember to prompt your scholar to give you a reason other than it has illustrations, because that's not necessarily true. And then over here I have my nonfiction text. And so some things that we talk about when we talk about nonfiction is its text features. So when you open up a nonfiction text, you're looking for pieces of information that is teaching you about a topic. So the topic of this story, this nonfiction text is caring for your dog. And so as we're looking through the pages, we're looking to see that each page is teaching us true information about how to care for our dog. Now, one thing about this nonfiction text is that it doesn't have text features that we appeal to. Besides photographs, it doesn't have the text features like captions or headings that we teach the scholars to look for. But here's an example of one that does. So if I open up this nonfiction text, I see that there's labels to tell me what kind of animals there are in different parts of the world. So basically, when you're teaching your scholar about fiction and nonfiction texts, they fall under two buckets. So fiction texts tell you a made-up story. Nonfiction texts teach you about a topic. Fiction texts have characters, setting, problem, and solution. And nonfiction texts have nonfiction text features like photographs or captions or labels or diagrams. So I hope that lesson would be helpful for you to work with your scholar while reading.